I wanted to revisit this article again, which was written back, way back to, well, not way back, 2003, February 19th, appeared in the World Net Daily. I'll post this link. It's still online, by Sherry Gossett. Basically, it's regarding Bob Chapman, who was, very popular on Alex Jones, the internet, and I'm going to tell you my opinion is I think he tells a lot of stories and he comes off as a salesman, in my personal opinion. I listened to him about 4 or 5 times, and after a while I can pretty much ascertain what he's going to say, but I don't want to say anything detrimental, but this is basically public record. The story goes, and I checked out the facts in this, a controversial gold analyst who had touted the stock of a company that was subject of a World Net Daily investigation report has subsequently disappeared, according to industry insiders. Basically, they're talking about Bob Chapman. About he was working for Bill Murphy, chairman of the Gold Antitrust Committee. About 3 weeks ago, Bob Chapman disappeared. We can't find him. Word is he'd gone to Mexico, which was just a rumor, or maybe it was a fact, but they weren't sure at that time. Continued Bill Murphy. I'm not happy with the situation. I have a few facts to deal with. He's written up for my site for 4 years, and then he's recently missed the 3 Saturdays. I don't know what happened. It looks like, they try to get in touch with him on his home phone in Punta Gorda, Florida. It had been disconnected. That number was publicly listed under Robert J. Chapman. I think it's Robert John Chapman, Judith Chapman. So it looked like he skipped town, from what I can tell you. I mean, what can I say, right? The British Columbia Securities Commission, it turns out, previously sanctioned Chapman in 1989, the very same year that Chapman's profile said he retired from running his own brokerage house. Now, this is written in 2003. The commission gave notice at a hearing to be held in the British Columbia Securities Commission on April 28, 1989, to give Chapman an opportunity to be heard. So what happened was, on October 31st, 1989, a hearing was held before the commission at which Chapman did not appear, and at which the superintendent presented oral and documentary evidence concerning Chapman's alleged violations of securities laws. The evidence included the fact that Chapman resided in British Columbia between February and May 1989, during which time he was employed by Gulf Titanium Limited in the capacity of chief economist and director of national and international public relations. While employed by this company, we're talking about Gulf Titanium Limited, wrote an article in the March 1989 edition of the publication called Gary Allen Report, in which he recommended Gulf Titanium shares and offered to provide advice on security portfolios, and Chapman was not registered as an advisor. He actually owned and wrote the Gary Allen Report, which reportedly had 30,000 subscribers. And so the commission prohibited, in the absence of Chapman being there, prohibited Chapman from becoming or acting as director or officer of any reporting issuer for a period of 10 years, and imposed a 5-year trading ban on him. And they also presented evidence which included various reprimands, or whatever you want to call it, that occurred with Bob Chapman in the United States. And there was 9 different areas and states that this occurred in from 1986 to 1989. I know he was active as a broker since the 60s and 70s, but and I'm going to say this, I don't know if anything happened before or what. You could say it's just one small period, but from my recollection, I was an accountant in the early 80s and working in a very large company in New Jersey, across from the river from New York. and we had the best equipment, and we were using calculators. The final financials were done on a spreadsheet word processor, and that was in the early 80s. So nothing was computerized back then. They had like tapes and stuff like that. So you know, who knows if there's more. I mean, that's all conjecture, but I mean, that's probably why all these things that happen are only within these few years, these 4 years, 1986 to 1989 inclusive. So it was in 9 different states: Florida, Connecticut, Alabama, Wisconsin, Michigan, South Dakota, Montana, Georgia, and California. Now, I'm not going to pull up, I already did pull it up, and I looked at it, but I verified what was in the article. But I'm not going to pull it up and put it on this video here, or what it is, even though I have it. But I verified everything that was on there. It was 13 different things, and he had a Series 40 license, a Series 63 license, and you can look them up. It's Robert John Chapman. You go under Advanced Search. Here's the link, and you can pull up the report, and it's all there. But I found interesting was he didn't have a Series 6 or Series 7 license, and if you're really a broker that's going to be selling a multiple of different types of securities, you should really have the best license, which is Series 7. So he was pretty limited on his licensing, and I guess that's why he got in trouble for, selling securities without having proper licenses or whatever it was. But then this continues on, and it says recommended Renaissance Mining. Okay. Chapman's last report, he recommended Renaissance Mining as the dream team, quote unquote, of mining, confidently asserting that it would easily become a $2 to $3 billion company. He was especially positive on a proposed merger between Renaissance Mining and Sedona Software Solutions. The same Chapman commentary ran on Kitco.com on January 27th, I'm assuming 2003. 2 days later, the SEC halted trading of Sedona Software Solutions at noon Pacific time. At one point, the stock had plunged 87% after a huge ramp-up. Go figure, right? Anyway, according to the SEC, trading was halted due to questions concerning the accuracy and completeness of information about Sedona on internet websites, in press releases and other sources publicly available to investors concerning, among other things, Sedona's planned merger with Renaissance Mining Corporation, a privately held company, the assets and business relationships of Renaissance, and trading in Sedona common stock in connection with the announced merger. So, there was a big write-up about this announced merger, and it was going to really be good for the stock, so buy it up, right? On February 13th, I'm assuming 2003, Sedona Software announced that the merger had been terminated. Wow. According to the last SEC filing, the company started with $15 in cash at the beginning of the period and had none left. The company had no revenues. So, anyway, a respected gold analyst who declined to be named in this report told WorldNet Daily, many in the gold sector view Chapman in a friendly light simply because he has been in the camp and not incidentally on the right side of the market for the past couple of years. With that, Chapman has a long history of being a paid stock touter. So, anyway, and he runs the International Forecaster. I'm not going to render any kind of a comment on that. Other than there's a couple claims on accuracy and forecast I thought were greatly exaggerated, but anyway, if you go look on this site, you can look at, this was released, litigation release number 20407, December 19, 2007, SEC versus Robert J. Chapman, right? That's regarding this Renaissance and Sedona Software. Again, SEC. I don't know where Chapman is again on here, but he's listed here. Robert Chapman, excuse me, right here. Gage accused of being engaged in market manipulation. So, you know, it verifies his story, and you know, as far as the article being accurate, it looks like an accurate article. So, I don't know. I don't want to say anything against Bob Chapman, because I don't know. I don't think that would be fair, but I'm just saying I personally don't take too much. He always came off, in my personal opinion, as a salesman, and somebody that told a lot of extra stories. He just knew a little too many people that I found incredible. I mean, I can't verify that one way or another, but I find it amazing that literally millions and millions of people listen to this guy with almost the attitude that he's against the established order and, buy gold, buy silver, which I think is a very smart idea, and he's touting buying it, which I think is a smart idea. But as far as listening to every single word, sometimes I think you're getting a lot of sales pitches in there, just my personal opinion. But the guy I listen to and I take very, very serious is, well, I can tell you, I think also Gerald Celenti's a good guy. I think he's a good one. But you're going to get some general information from Gerald Celenti. I think the guy to really pay attention to every single word he says, and very carefully, everything he writes, is Mark Faber. That guy I would pay attention to very, very carefully. And one thing, very common sense is, when we saw like the metals going up at a certain period of time, and everybody's like jumping on, like, it's going to the moon, it's going to be this, it's going to be that, that's going to be the time the downturn is going to occur. And I believe Bob Chapman made a statement about something to the effect that the gold and silver were dropped, and that was the elite did this on purpose, and now it's going to go high because down now they're no longer in a short position. I don't know how he knows this or where exactly he's getting his information from, but in lieu of some of the things I guess he allegedly did in the past, I don't know if this is proven or what, but I mean, he was charged, the SEC charged him with this, so I mean, I don't know how it all, I didn't really tell you the truth. I don't really care about all the details. I just seen enough and sensed enough when listening to him. I don't come about with the same opinion a lot of people do, and I think a lot of people are probably listening to him a little too keenly. So I don't think he has any special inside information as he portrays. So I'm just telling you to be wary. Do a little research. I mean, this doesn't necessarily mean he's a bad guy. I mean, basically, I think he's on the right track with the gold and the silver, and he probably does have some good information. I don't think everything he says is wrong, but he just reminds me of a salesman. That's my personal opinion. And I'll tell you, I think the guy to really listen to is somebody that's hardcore numbers, like Mark Faber or Jimmy Rogers. So, pay very careful attention to what they say. I think gold and silver is not the only thing out there that's a good investment, and it's obviously one thing else there that's going to be good investment is agriculture. So, I don't know. I guess I'm kind of surprised this guy is, more power to him, but he's got so much of an audience out there that pays attention to everything he says like it's gospel, which is, I don't know, pretty amazed.